Hey, are you a business owner, entrepreneur, or professional? If so, we want you to apply to be a featured guest on our show. My name is Adam Torres, and I host the Mission Matters series of podcasts. I've recorded over 3,000 episodes, and we are just getting started. How do you know if you'd be a good guest to be on the show? Well, only one way to find out, and that's to apply, but I'm going to let you in on a little secret. We want guests that have a story to tell, guests with a brand, a product, or a service that can benefit my audience of listeners. If this sounds like you, go to missionmatters.com and click on Be Our Guest to apply. I'd love to talk to you and get to know more about your story. Again, head on over to missionmatters.com and click on Be Our Guest to apply. All right, now let's get into the show.
Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Mission Matters. My name is Adam Torres. You can follow me on Instagram at AskAdamTorres. Keep up with my book releases, book tour schedule, signings, all that other good stuff. Always love to connect with you there. And as always, if you'd like to apply to become a co-author of one of my upcoming books, just head on over to the website, missionmatters.com, and click on Become an Author to apply. All right, so today I have Mia Umanos on the line, and she's co-founder over at Clickvoyant. Mia, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Appreciate the invitation.
All right, Mia. So first thing first, I love the name of your company, Clickvoyant. I mean, it's rare that I see a name of a company that just that just sticks out to me, and as soon as you see it, you can already tell what it's all about. And what we'll talk about today. So we'll talk about analytics. So I'm excited to get into that and how your company helps individuals and businesses with that. But just to get us kicked off. So Mia, we at Mission Matters, we amplify stories for entrepreneurs, executives, and experts. So that's our mission here. Mia, what mission matters to you?
Well, we, Kate and I are co-founders of an analytics company, and we both had fathers who had their own business. In the dot-com era, those businesses folded because our fathers weren't able to keep up with the digital transformation of the 90s. And so in hindsight, Kate and I see that we're making millions of dollars, saving millions of advertising revenue for our Fortune 1000 and up companies. We like to bring that level of intelligence to all businesses, mid-cap and smaller, because they are deficient in analytics talent. Being able to compete with the likes of Jeff Bezos and Amazon is definitely something that I think a lot of small businesses and startups have to do. And without, analytics insight, it's very difficult. But our dream is to have, say, some makeup manufacturer being able to make it as large as MAC Cosmetics without ever having to be in a Sephora or a Target.
Man, that's amazing. So Mia, let's just get it kicked off. So tell us a little bit more about Clickvoyant and what you do.
Sure. Clickvoyant is a SaaS-based artificial intelligence. It is basically Kate and myself cloned. We have 15 years of analytics experience, and so what it does is read through raw marketing data, analyzes it for what every senior analyst would ask it, and then spits out a PowerPoint presentation of all these findings because, let's face it, businesses still communicate with each other in Slack.
So can you give us a kind of an example of how this would work? So meaning, like, let's say that I meet your, and actually, I guess, tell us, you mentioned Fortune 1000 and above that you work with. So let's say I'm a business owner. I'm looking at, we need more data. We need to figure this out. Like, take me through, like, what your user journey looks like what it would look like to bring a client on and kind of go through that process.
Yeah, so most of our clients, they're in digital marketing. So they have these activities like things like podcasts, things like social media activities, posting things on LinkedIn. They're buying ads on Facebook and Pinterest. And they also have websites and some mobile applications to help, deepen customer relationships. All of that activity creates this digital exhaust that has a lot of insights to mine for human behavior, what your customers like, how you can stay better in touch with them, and even improve your product. To be able to mine that data, you typically need people. And our role as an analyst is to, create some modeling, sometimes introduce some machine learning to find those insights. And what companies do with those insights are find $1 million in opportunities to say, well, let's deprecate some of these products over here because they don't seem to be very popular, or wow, this is really hot and trending right now. Let's, create some pricing strategies or advertising campaigns to generate more awareness. And in a way, data is kind of that conversation between a brand and the consumer. So without a translator like an analyst, they are unable to capitalize on these insights. So we would deliver dashboards, our typical, delivering PowerPoint presentations, are typical, and that's what an analyst would do. Now, that process, which is normally 50, 60, 70 hours of work, takes just a few minutes.
Wow, that's such a big deal, like saving time like that and providing those insights, because then it allows the business to make a logical decision towards something that they would have never seen. So the other co-founder here, Chirag, he's obsessed with this side of it. I do the recording, I do this part of it, but he's obsessed with the analytics and the data and like how we can get better, which is great. So as a team, we work well. But that being said, can you give us like maybe an example of an outcome you had? Because I just really want to paint this picture for our audience, and you don't have to give the name of the company if you don't want to, of course, but just an outcome you had to where a company was just like, wow, okay, now we get it.
Yeah, examples actually. On one hand, we have one company that we love working with, and they, just quit their jobs and started like, I'm going to like kimchi and salted caramel, and we're going to deliver this straight to home. So they're by grocer vendors. So they're going straight to the consumer. Well, they're building their business and their analytics just on top of ClickVoyant. So normally the process would have to be, well, I hire a bunch of analysts, I hire a data scientist, and then they're going to tell me what to do. They just turn on ClickVoyant, and they're using that to manage all of their digital marketing activities and all their product offerings, even in their e-commerce platform.
So that's great, Mia. And, I just wanted you to maybe if you could give us an example. So, because I want to go a little bit further with this, because I know you're doing great work. So maybe give us an example of an outcome you had. So you don't have to give the company's name if you don't want to, but give us an example.
Sure. I'll give you a couple examples. In one example, we do have a hipster popcorn company that just went straight to consumer. They're going to bypass all of the grocers and any other like Amazon marketplaces, and they're just doing an e-commerce platform on their own. When they turn on ClickVoyant, they can find $7,000 a month in incremental revenue opportunities just by changing out.
Oh, did you say $7,000 a month? That's that's impressive. You don't want to glance over that, right? That's a lot.
It's not a small amount, right? I mean, especially for a mid-cap and smaller business, we're talking real dollars here. And this is just small changes by, moving a little bit of advertising budget from one place to another, or targeting a specific kind of audience, or changing up the product offering. These are the insights that ClickVoyant level up, and they're running their whole business. They don't have an analytics team because they're small. They can't really afford an analyst who start at about $120,000 a year. So they're running ClickVoyant on their business, and that's helping them grow.
Okay. So, this is, I guess I'll ask the question, but it seems like it's night and day, obviously. So this versus Google Analytics, like who wins?
Well, Google is definitely somebody we're always feeling like we're running in front of. We're trying not to get run over by them. But I'll tell you this, our data
you and everyone else, right?
It's true. But their main focus is ads. What we do is help analyze also ads, but also user experience on the site. We also look at other data sets, for example, your CRM, your Stripe. And so ClickVoyant is data agnostic. We do a lot of Google Analytics analysis, but Google, they only have their data set.
And so, what are some of the industries? You mentioned marketing, marketers, but what are some of the industries just in general that can benefit from this overall?
Well, any website that is either an e-commerce website or is paying for ads. So like, say, for example, we have another company that is a garage service repair company. They pay for ads in Google search algorithms, right? And they're spending like $6,000 a month in advertising. Every lead that comes into their call center is roughly $600. So by helping them optimize their sites, they're also finding, money-making opportunities. And so any site that benefits from, that's using ads, media marketing, and e-commerce will benefit. And that is really a lot of verticals: travel, B2B, services, or e-commerce.
That's awesome. So Mia, first off, this has been great. I love bringing entrepreneurs on and learning about their companies, and I love what you're doing for business owners, because what it's doing is, the more value you're creating for them, the more, you're giving them access, as you mentioned, to analytics that they normally wouldn't have. Like normally a small business, they don't have that, 125,000, as you mentioned, or so, or more, depending, to pay for that one role, right? They're looking at spending that on maybe other things, and they just don't have it yet. And as they grow, maybe one day, but the way that you've created this model, to me, it's just exciting, because now what you're doing is you're kind of democratizing data in a way where, only big companies once upon a time could have access to this. Now, other people can, based off of the work that you and your co-founder have done. So I think it's amazing. That being said, Mia, so if somebody is Absolutely. So if somebody is listening to this right now or watching it and they want to learn more and they want to connect with you and your team, what's the best way for them to do that?
Well, they can always go to our website, www.clickvoyant.com, or hit me up on LinkedIn directly, Mia Umanos. I am the only one out there, actually. So even if you Google me, you'll see all my stuff, all my old MySpace, all my playlists on Spotify. I'm the only one out there.
Oh, that's amazing. That's great. Well, Mia, again, it's a pleasure. It's been a pleasure having you on the show. And to the audience, as always, thank you for tuning in. Hope you got a lot of value out of this. Hope you learned a lot. If you did, don't forget, hit that subscribe button. We definitely want you to be a return listener and a return visitor. Have many more mission-based entrepreneurs and businesses coming up for you, and we don't want you to miss anything. And Mia, again, thank you. It's been a pleasure having you on.
My pleasure.